Okay. I was just saying that I just went to town where they it's got good cell service. So hopefully it'll work out good.
Yeah, it's working out pretty good. How was your Christmas, man?
It was pretty good, man. I don't have any children, and I also kind of miss out on a lot of the festivities with that. But I have a niece and some got to see a lot of family and everything during the time. So it was good. How about yours?
Hey man, it's cool, man. I'm alive and I'm free and I'm thinking and I'm evolving.
Yes.
That's all I can hope for, man. That's really all I can hope for. The lights on and the heat's working.
Yeah. You always got a chance, then, if that's the case.
Yep. So I'll take that over many of the alternatives. So I'm on my other channel tonight, which is
Hmm.
called Stay Out of Prison, the irony. Um
Okay.
so these people have not heard of you yet, but if you could introduce yourself to them, man, that would be a blessing.
Okay. My name is Tyler Riles. I'm a former correctional officer for the Georgia Department of Corrections. I started at 18 at Telfair State Prison and did many different jobs in the department. I was the emergency response team commander of Telfair, Valdosta, and Johnson at one point or another. And I was lieutenant inside Valdosta and s- tax squad commander at Telfair and different things during my 10-year uh, career with them.
Hmm.
My career actually stopped at 9 years and 11 months. Right before my 10 years with them, I submitted a statement to the executive leadership of the Georgia Department of Corrections outlining concerns that I had for the safety and welfare of all the staff and inmates, both that are inside of the prisons. And
Hmm.
I raised my concerns, and from that, I was threatened initially that I was going to be fired if I didn't recant my statement. But when I said that I wasn't going to resign or um, recant the statement, then I had a meeting with the assistant commissioner, which I have I have like a video of that and all that, which that's free information anyway that we'll be able to get from Freedom of Information Request. But all that's there. I had the 20-minute Zoom call with the assistant commissioner to where he was just giving me the generic responses that I've already heard 10,000 times about um, when something's going to be done in the department. And that was in August of 2024. So now we're whatever, a year and 4 months past that time. And even and then, we were what I saw as well over a year or two, well, years past needing help then. So now here we are, we're a little past a year from the date that I left the department, which was like I say, it was August of 2024.
Okay. So just out of curiosity, what were some of those concerns that you had?
Well, they have allowed the staff shortages to get to a point to where sometimes there's not even an officer period that's able bodied that's even at the prison. So
Hold
that
on
was
real
one of
quick,
the
bro. Hold
main.
on real quick. Surface Jet, what we're talking about is I'm a former, uh, I guess I would be a former convict, a former inmate, and this is a former officer. And we were having a discussion about how we could encourage humans to treat humans like humans. That's what this entire conversation is about. Uh, Two different perspectives, same goal. Let's just say God is at work tonight. How about that? My apology, bro. I just wanted to explain because they were asking. I wanted to let them know what we had going on. Go ahead.
Yeah. Um, I don't know, what was we talking about?
We was talking about was what was going on that you had an issue with to the
That
point
I
where
had an
you,
issue with.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, it was stuff that's been going on for years. Mainly, the main point that I was bringing up is the staff shortages, because many of these prisons don't even have the people there that are the bare minimum to even accomplish the mission. So you got everything from inmates not being able to get the medical attention that they need, to inmates not being able to get showers and get fed like they're supposed to be getting fed. If you want to go by policy,
Yeah.
get checked on, all this. the the officers themselves in extreme danger by being in these kind of situations with the inmates where the competent staff is not there, you
Okay.
know. And in that statement, I went into, like, I didn't just say, hey, there's no officers and we need help. I said, hey, there's no officers, and here are some reasons why we probably don't have as many officers. And a lot of that had to do with the ACA, or American Correctional Association, that came into the department in 2017, starting 18. That they started changing their policies was in 2018, and I listed those things, and then I also said that there were major problems with certain people that they knew were problematic and that had been problematic for a long time, that they were bringing down the morale of the people they were purported to be supervising, and that there need to be, you know, something done about these issues.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main things I brought up, which I thought, in my head when I was writing the statement, I was like, there's no way they're not going to be able to address this, because it's so much common sense for one, but also it's against policy what they're doing.
Right.
But I brought up the fact that they were sending female only escorts to hospital posts, doctor's appointments, things like this, to out in the free world. They were taking and sending two females with the male inmates. Okay. And that's just how bad that the shortages have got, to where, like I said, they don't even make sure they have a male officer with the male inmates anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's something that, to my knowledge, is never heard of. Like,
Right.
even in like world history, like nobody does that. Nobody puts 1,200 uh people that are incarcerated all inside of a camp, and then put three females there to offer security and secure the institution, and just let it be like that. Like, that's unheard of.
Right.
We're making history here in Georgia, and we have been for years, you know, but just in a bad way, like in a
Yeah.
real bad way.
It's not good history.
No.
Okay. So for those people who don't know, when a facility in the state of Georgia is understaffed, what does that birth, or what does that lead to?
Leads to total chaos, because you don't have anybody inside the prison to not only keep everybody safe, but, like I say, keep everybody fed, keep the sanitation going like it's supposed to, keep the counseling visits going like they're supposed to, keep the mental health visits. Everything at the prison crumbles when you don't have people there to make these things happen. And that goes from education. There's no part of the prison that doesn't suffer when you have a lack of staff there. And it's not just the officers. Like, they're short on, and this should tell you that they obviously got a problem with the way that they run things. Because if you're short on officers, kitchen workers, counselors, nurses won't even go up in here and work because of conditions.
Yeah.
They can't hardly keep people, you know, inside this environment, because it's total, you know, wild west lunacy up in here.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything goes to crap. Everything goes to crap, and then down there in the dormitories, what happens is that they get a power structure. The ones that are in gangs get clicked up in their gangs. They all segregate themselves out by the gangs,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody makes weapons because there's nobody there. Remember, like, with three officers there, even if those officers weren't female, they still wouldn't be able to stop them from tearing the bed up in there and making a machete out of it
Right.
if there's no officer down in the building.
Mm-hmm.
So then you end up with everybody in there has got knives. There is no kind of security presence there that's going to be able to do anything. That's why now, when you see things happening, there's nobody even trying to stop it. Did you see the recent video where there was a bunch of people stabbing each other all in the floor and
Man,
stuff
I
at
saw
Washington State
people
Prison?
with mattresses
Yes.
on their shoulders.
Mhm.
It just baffled me, and in my mind, I did time a long time ago. In my mind, I was like, "Where the police at?" Because there's no way
Yeah.
possible that this is. And it was like,
This
if
is going
you
down,
couldn't
ain't no
fend for
fun.
yourself, man, it was gonna be a bad night for you.
Yeah. See, here's the thing too. Notice you didn't see any officer presence in those videos.
Right.
Because now they don't even they don't even try to go in and stop stuff like that anymore. Because,
Mm.
like I say, they're at Washington. I know for a fact because that's where I was at before I left.
Okay.
Like at Washington, man, you didn't even have 5 capable officers at that entire prison.
Mm.
That's it. There's almost nothing but females. All the supervisors, female, and look, like I say, that's not me trashing females or nothing like that.
Right.
But common sense has flown the coop when you put 2 females on a prison camp like that. Of course, those females are not gonna run up in there and try to stop them from killing one another up in there with machetes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not equipped for that. Even 2 or 3 dudes wouldn't be equipped for it.
Right.
It's crazy enough doing that with, and I've done that like plenty of times in situations just like that. Like we used to would run up in there and stop that. Like
Yeah.
that. Something like that, even if it would have popped off years ago, it wouldn't have lasted 30 seconds before, man, there would have been so many of us in there that, I mean, they would have had to stab us to keep doing
Right.
it. And most of the time they don't want to do that, because, I mean, they got their own thing going on. They got gang stuff going on, which that's a whole nother issue. And, something that us here, as far as Georgians, and the youth in the cities and stuff like that, it's like that problem's got to be figured out. Yeah, you know, but right now, man, it ain't nothing but bloodshed off in this thing. In the
Let me
streets
ask
and
you
in the
this:
prison.
what dynamic does the gang culture bring to the staff from your perception? What changes when gangs are a factor inside the Georgia Department of Corrections?
As far as the staff goes,
Your staff or just the livelihood of anybody? What changes? Like uh, uh, a dorm with no gangs as opposed to a dorm with gangs. What's the difference?
the difference is that you don't have incidents like what we were saying we just seen at Washington State Prison. The difference is that t- men, uh, just because of our nature, especially some of us that are like, we just can get violent with one another, and
Mhm.
that can just happen with dudes, man. Like it's just a thing. Like one minute everything can be good, the next minute somebody could be wanting to hurt the other guy,
Right,
and that can go vice versa. When that happens, if everybody's in a gang and everything is militarized, and you got 60 people in here toting knives, can't wait on the opportunity to earn a stripe anyway.
right.
Then 2 dudes that would not that something that would normally happen anyway, 2 dudes get to fighting or 2 dudes get to arguing about something or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Now that situation has done turned into what we see at Washington. Everybody's hacking machetes out because these dudes, now everybody is almost affiliated because of just the sheer lack of officer presence at the prisons, that's what they rely on for their security.
Right.
So they've all got militarized, and so now anytime anything happens, if these 2 guys are affiliated, you have a war pop off. You know? Now
Mm.
everybody's getting stabbed up, and it's a lot harder to keep an officer at a prison working when, on one hand, you got every now and then some inmates fight, and maybe they stab each other, maybe they don't, but it's an isolated incident.
Right.
And then you got this other situation where, something pops off and you got jokers yelling everywhere, all this, everything's going down, everybody's running around with knives. It's like 300 people trying to stab each other all at one time. That's a whole different situation. Like I said, that's war. Like that
Yeah.
really is war. Like when they say that, like, oh, we going to war, like they mean that. Like they really are going to war. Like you got militarized factions or gangs, whatever you want to call them. They
Mhm.
all armed and they're all sworn to go. And they all have to keep, like, by the way they got the rules set up, it's like when something like that happens, of course everybody's gonna go. Heck, they got the rules. If you don't go, if you don't ride, you get rode on. So of course, when the stuff pops, they already got their mind prepped up for that anyway.
Okay.
Because they're down there in the buildings armed with no security presence. So I mean they don't want to get killed.
Is
They don't
there
nobody want to get go
is
ahead.
is there a group that is more violent than the other ones, or all groups equally as violent and willing to go to the full extent?
Uh in my personal experience, I mean it's all pretty much the same. I mean, you're gonna have, just like with anywhere, you're gonna have like people from each Like there's some people in each gang that's really about it,
Yeah.
and all gangs have those people within the gang. But as far as like which gang was the most violent, I
Uh,
mean the Bloods had more incidents because they have
the
with the
numbers.
Bloods, well, they have the numbers, and not only like the thing, Bloods are involved in way more incidents in the state than GDs are,
Wow.
even though the GDs have the more numbers. Because, like I say, with the Bloods, it could be they don't have to be going against nobody else. It could be two different sets of Bloods that's going to war.
And you won't
So
see that with GDs. You won't catch Crips going against Crips.
every now and then, but it's not as common.
Okay.
It's a pretty common thing with the Bloods, that they go to war and stuff like that. But with that too, you have the numbers. Like with the Crips in Georgia, from my understanding, in other states where the Crips have more numbers, they go against each other more often than they do here.
Okay.
But here you hardly ever see that, especially with like the ones that don't have as many numbers, because I mean obviously they they need to be sticking together.
Right.
If they're already outnumbered by a bunch of people anyway. But I think
Okay.
that mostly just goes into the numbers thing, really. I mean, just because you have a lot of numbers, and then of those numbers, it's not like everybody's under the same leadership. I mean, you might have, man, like just say a Telfair, like there might be like 15 dudes on the compound, and like each one of these dudes is over a set, you know.
Gotcha.
So that's just like it's easy to have warring factions when you have it like
Right.
that.
Right. Right. Okay. So you have opened my eyes to a number of things just in reference to sometimes the things that we see on the news and we repeat them, they're not factual.
Right.
They're not some information is just outright wrong. Uh and you have the inside scoop. Can you touch on some things that we as civilians, we may be getting one story, but you know it to be something totally different. And I'm asking not to. I know you don't work with them anymore, but I don't want to put you in a compromising situation. But I do want to
Man,
know if you
dude, I can't wait for these people to try to sue me or do something. I can't wait. I want to compromise myself at this point. So don't worry about none of that.
oh man. Uh
They got the right one.
Earlier you mentioned that I did a report on, I think it was, I don't know if it was Telfair or, man, what prison was it? The last one was, but anyway, the news, there was a warden who was fired. There
Yes.
was, and they showed the wrong picture or
Well, here's the thing. So
okay.
the two you did a special video on Telfair State Prison, and then you did a special video on Valdosta State Prison.
Valdosta.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, both of those videos had things in it because I didn't see any of those news stories when they came out. I watched your content on it,
Okay.
and and I noticed it then with both of those. Okay, on the one about Telfair State Prison, when it was telling you that the warden had got stabbed and all that,
Yeah.
it it said that this is McFarland, and it pulled up on the picture. They pulled up a picture of a man that
Yeah.
was not McFarland. I don't know who that was. It wasn't the
Wow.
warden.
Wow.
So that just made me go, what's up with that? Like, why'd they show a different guy than who's really the warden there? Like, that don't even make
Mm.
sense. It's public information who these wardens are and all.
Now, were you
But
there when that warden was stabbed?
no, no, I
Okay.
was at Johnson. I know some people that was around. There was other people that got stabbed before that. There was an incident that they didn't even put on the news or none of that. There was an incident where about 5 officers got stabbed at
See, now
Telfair.
that's what confuses me. That's what confuses me because you have situations where officers' lives have been affected to the point where they've been stabbed up, and why isn't this story being reported?
Because they want to, number one, the main reason is because they don't want word spreading to all the other officers about what's really going on in some of these camps because they don't want to lose officers. But when you're hiding the truth, like that just
Yeah.
to try to keep people and stuff,
Yeah.
then you ain't gonna keep people, you know, because
Mm.
you're lying about every dang thing. But yeah, they lying about. But now the warden did get stabbed, you
Okay.
know. But what I'm saying is, not too long before that, when there was a different warden, they let's see, the deputy warden, the CERT commander got his arm broke, the deputy warden got stabbed, the captain got punched, another officer got stabbed in the neck, another dude, it was like 5 or 6 officers that had to leave on the hospital from one incident one day. And
Mm.
that was while I was the CERT commander at Johnson, because I was, you know, like I say, like I knew all these guys, some of these guys that got stabbed that day.
Yeah.
And let's see, that was in 20, it had to be 2022 or
Mm.
20 or early 2023, somewhere in there,
Okay.
you know. But
Mm.
yeah, they showed on there, they didn't show the right warden. Now, I've never worked with that warden guy, but
Uh-huh.
what I can tell you from the people that's working there now and some people that have left from there recently, that this guy is some total bull crap. The one that is the warden there now. You know, he's done let the prison get, it was already bad anyway. But from what I'm hearing, it's got a lot worse under his leadership. You
Okay.
know, now I'm getting told now, man, that there are cars just driving up on Perimeter Road at night at Telfair and just throwing bags of stuff over the fence, and inmates just sitting out there waiting to grab them. You know, and they grab it,
That's
and then the
crazy.
car just drive off. Like, not even a drone, none of that. We're talking about like a civilian vehicle just drives up on the prison property and then gets on the road that's around the perimeter of the prison, goes to the building and throws over the contraband, whatever they want in there, and then
Mm.
they don't ever take the building down. They don't do nothing about it. You know, and
That's
it's like a
crazy.
regular thing, is what I'm getting told. Like,
Gotcha.
this is weekly that this stuff is happening at Telfair.
That would explain the continuous increase of drug overdoses at that facility.
Yes.
What's going
Yeah. I mean,
on? Risa out the cell, still waiting on the plate. Um, so earlier, earlier you talked about something that would bring awareness to the the mishappenings inside of the Georgia Department of Corrections. And we talk on the regular, and you asked me a question, you was like, man, like what can be done and what's next? And I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. I
yeah,
don't I can scream until I can do a report on each prison. I can try to shock people with the footage that I get from inside, but it's kind of like it's falling on deaf ears, man. But you had an idea or a thought, man. I said when you typed it, it sounded better when you said it. When you said, I was like, you know what, that could actually work, man. So can
yeah,
you let us know what that is, man? What's that idea and what's your vision?
yeah. First, let me tell you what brought the idea up to my head.
Hmm.
Okay. So I started about 6 months ago with trying to like go out publicly and speak on social media and try to like do something else than what I already did about when I submitted the statement and stuff with the state.
Okay.
All right. Since then, I've had some pretty good success, but at the same time, it's like it's a thing that's hard to get traction with prison reform.
Okay.
Okay. I reached out to a bunch of big like influencers and stuff like that. I've reached out to people like uh the the Congress lady from North Georgia, Majority Taylor Green.
Okay.
You know, I've sent stuff on social media to people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., that's the health secretary. I mean, I've sent stuff to a lot of people. Okay. Of that, I haven't been able to get very much success as far as getting the attention of people that are that have like large followings and stuff like that.
Okay.
I did get the attention of one pretty large guy, and then I got some, you know, like don't get me wrong, like I've had some support, you know, but at the same time, it's like it ain't been blowing up,
Right.
you know.
Right. Right.
And I had another guy that has already did some work on this that has a large, like he has maybe 2 million people following on his social or whatever. But and I ain't gonna put his name out there because I mean he ain't say nothing bad, but at the same time, like I didn't like the conversation. But anyway, we had a conversation and he told me pretty much like, look, we already tried a couple years ago and put a couple $1 million or something like that into this program to try to raise awareness. And he pretty much, and he in fact he did tell me like, look, nobody cares. You know,
Right.
we tried. We put a couple $1 million in it. We tried to do the right thing. It didn't get nothing behind it. It just they talking financial and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
it don't make money and all. And pretty much just said, look, I hate it for you, but I don't know what to tell you. And I was just like, dang, man. So but I still been going because that's been like, a couple months ago
Right.
that he told me that. I still been going. I've been having some success. But
Okay.
anyway, so when I type out a thing saying some of the things that are going on inside the prison and give some testimony about that, it's like it don't get very much traction.
Right.
But sports and all this, it gets a lot of traction.
Yeah.
And also new things get traction.
Yeah.
People like novelty,
Yeah.
and all. So I was sitting there and I've been thinking because ever since uh August 1st, 2024, I've been pissed about this, like for
Right.
real,
Right.
because all this is wrong. It really is. And everybody already knows it's wrong. Like I really ain't even doing no good to come on and tell all the stuff about the prison because everybody's already knows that it ain't going like it's supposed to. And they've
Right.
already admitted that they're violating the constitutional rights. But anyway, when I was thinking about all that, I was like, you know, it seems like nobody want to fight. Ain't nobody got to fight in them. They don't
Yeah.
want nobody fight. They want nobody fight if they think it's a losing cause. And I fight. I fight for everything I believe in.
Yeah.
Better believe that. I really will. Like, so why don't let's fight?
Yeah.
Let like I looked it up. There's never been a exhibition boxing match between an ex-officer and an ex-inmate trying to raise awareness for the prisons. It's like, look, the
Hey
people
man,
in the
hold
prison.
on. I know you don't cuss, but you're a shit starter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, I don't cuss no more. Or I try not to. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Oh.
I'm definitely a shit starter. Like the inmates will tell you that. Inmates tell you that. Everybody tell you.
Hey
Like
man,
this guy.
man, you made me
But
want to put on my Don King hat. But then I'm thinking in my mind, what's going on in Detroit, Michigan? Bro, what you
yeah,
saying is so profound because all you're trying to do is get
it's,
people to pay attention to the right thing.
yeah,
And you scream to the top of your lungs. Now you're at the point, well, let's just fight then. Let's just fight. If
yeah.
this what you, yeah. Um,
Y'all want if the people don't want to listen to nothing else, they love it when people fight each other. That's one thing for sure. And I don't got no hate. Don't take this as saying like I'm mad about the inmates or nothing like that.
right,
Like,
right,
dude,
right, right,
I got love for all the inmates, man. Like, look, if somebody's sentenced to do their time, then that's their thing. While I was working in there, I was there to do a job. I wasn't there to torture nobody. I didn't never torture nobody. I treated people fairly, So that's just, it ain't my point of saying that. Like, it ain't that I want to fight inmates. Like,
right.
I would rather fight the commissioner.
You
Let's
know
do
that's
that.
not
I
happening.
think if they don't want me to box with a former inmate, then let's get the commissioner up in here and me and him put the gloves on. But I'm dang sure I'm ready to fight with somebody. And that was just the thing that came up. Like, man, I know it's a bunch of dudes that maybe like ex inmate that would want to do something like that. Like, why not?
Yeah, but see,
They
my
like that
thing
anyway.
is that for dominoes to be in place because for the entertainment purposes, it's entertaining, but there's a goal. The goal is to bring
Yeah.
awareness um to the mishaps, the inhumane situations, man. I
You know
think
what? At this point, I'm gonna stop calling my stuff advocacy. I'm gonna start calling myself demands because at you know at this point, these people have done admitted that they're violating the constitutional rights of tens of thousands of people here in Georgia daily, and they ain't did jack shit to
mm,
try to ameliorate that. They ain't did
right,
a nothing. They ain't did nothing but half behind report what's actually they ain't even reported honestly about what's going on in there, much
right,
less try to fix it.
right,
So I'm just past the point of caring with these people. It is what like these people, the people that's running our government are traitors, some of them.
right,
And the ones that ain't, like they need to take up uh against the ones that are because this is some bull crap, especially with the like I can't speak on all this other stuff, because I've never been involved in it, but at the same time, like I got common sense.
Right.
So how are we invading other countries and capturing their leaders and stuff when we got prisons being guarded by two females
Hey
over this
man, they
joker,
got
man?
that. Here's the situation with that, and this is just my opinion. Hey man, that's new money. This prison thing, that's old money. That's you think that the prison it hold on. Why did she do that?
What happened?
No, I just had messages that was deleted. Why'd you do that? Crystal, why'd you do that? Why'd you delete her message? Oh, that made me lose my train of thought. Okay, so I forgot what the hell I was just about to say, man. Um, oh, this is what I was saying. Okay, so I think that it would be entertaining. I think that in reference to bringing awareness to the situation, there needs to already be an explanation for it, an explanation for it, and maybe this conversation needs to take place offline because I know people that do promotion through the city, man. They do promotion and they would love to get a hold of this. They would love
Yeah,
to get a hold of this, man.
yeah,
Uh,
I would imagine, and but you know what I would love, man? I would love for them to just stop the killing inside the prisons,
right.
and beyond that, like we need to do some talking about reform too,
Mhm.
with the whole system as a whole. But for right now, like they just need to stop the dang bloodshed off of that thing. Like that's what I want. So yeah, I'll definitely be willing to. But that'll be the thing is speaking with people and trying to talk to somebody that could get eyes on it and all that. You
Right.
know, and I
Yeah.
mean I'll speak. That's the thing. Like I'll talk about this to anybody.
Mhm.
Like it's just the fact of like I say, getting people to want to pay attention because like we just talking about with uh with Venezuela and all that. Like there's so many different things going on that it's hard to keep people's attention, especially with stuff that's going on that needs action like this. Like it needs to be the right people that see
Right.
this that
Right.
to get something done. And I don't even know who the right people are per se.
Right.
Just people that have a heart that are not hardened of heart. That's the people that need to see it. Once enough of those people see it, it's like they won't be no choice but to do something here.
Mm. I can see it working. You got my mind spinning because in my mind, it um it represents a lot of things. In my mind, and I know you would have a main, bro. If you asking such questions, you've probably never been, or you're homeless and have no job and thinking it's a vacation. Oh, that's somebody responding to somebody in that message deleted by. Okay. Um, in my mind, I think that a lot of people who handle things outside of gloves should be inspired to handle things with gloves. As men,
Yeah,
as men, that's what we do.
yeah.
We'll
That
we'll
like
we'll battle.
yeah, that needs to be encouraged for everybody because, like I say, imagine all these guys that's killing each other at school. Like
Right,
they really could just put gloves on and go get it over with, and they would feel better afterwards. It'll be over with.
right.
Usually, I don't know what this is going on with these people killing each other like this, man. Like it don't make no sense to me. So it'll be
Yeah,
good it's always good to encourage stuff like that. I
right.
think anyway. You know.
Yeah. Um, hey man, however I can help out, man, I'm with it. I'm with it. And I'm not at a loss of words, but there's some people that I want to contact, man, so we can sit down and have a real conversation and try to get some things done. And
Okay.
I'm all for solutions, man. And uh, shit, we need solutions, bro. We
Yeah,
need solutions.
that's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely need solutions, man. So,
And I'm down. I'll come up to Atlanta or whatever in person. If I need to. Like it don't matter. We can do it wherever. Like it don't even. Man, I'll go anywhere. There ain't nowhere
yeah.
I won't go.
Well, we need to
And
have
especially if I'm
whoever the
welcome.
the individual is. The individual needs to be on point mentally as to what the overall goal is as well.
Yes.
I think that we don't want to forget or eliminate the humanistic aspect of it at all. Otherwise, it's a total loss.
Yes.
Uh, is that your phone?
Yes, it was. I was getting
Oh,
a phone call.
okay. It was something else I wanted to ask you. Okay, so did you and the other ex officers or ex employees, I don't I don't know what the people I seen you on TikTok with some people.
Mhm.
Have they gathered any momentum in what it is that they're trying to do?
Yeah, I think they got like somewhere around 1,500 followers or so on there by now.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But they haven't posted anything since right around the time that the holidays started. So, I don't even like those ladies really just wanted to tell their story and do advocacy. Since that, like I know that they had a lot of people reaching out to them, just like that I have with me. So they have the option to keep that going. I don't know if they will. Like I don't know. I'll have to talk with them and just see, where they're looking at going with that. But off of the whatever it is, about 15 videos that they released on the Exposed GDC Officer Edition TikTok page, like just those three is enough information to bring the whole thing down. Just that one video, 3-hour conversation me and you had the first time
Right.
is enough. That's what
Right.
I'm saying. Like that's why I'm trying to think outside the box about doing some different things because like it's not an information problem.
Right.
Like the information is there. Like nobody is going I don't even know who from the GDC is gonna stand up and actually speak on and say everything's good for this. They won't. They just not gonna say anything. They're gonna go quiet with the comms, just like they have now. They don't even
Well,
say
tell you
hardly
that
nothing.
that they reached out to the Georgia Department of Corrections and they have not yet came up with the response. But they did tell us that they would send us a response. That's how that's gonna go.
Insofar as what? With that guy that passed away about Austin?
No, and then you can go down the list of things. I was just speaking sarcastically about how they
Oh,
respond because I
yeah.
know people that still waiting on death certificates or investigations to take place. There was a guy who was found in a cell apparently 2 days after he had been unalive, which
Yeah.
is wild. It's
But
wild.
but it's believable,
Yeah,
you know. But it's believable. And how many 30-minute checks is that went by? Because he was in lockdown. You know, so you're talking about what, 10 counts and 48 and 2 is whatever that is, 80, 96
hmm
30-minute checks that
hmm
went by
hmm
somewhere around in there. I mean, that's ridiculous. But like I said, they probably didn't even have an officer down there. They probably they probably didn't, but I don't know. They have to look at the footage. But that's another thing. They don't release none of the footage out from in there either.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
footage we get is the footage recorded by the cell phones.
Mm.
When they got the best footage, because they got these high tech cameras at all the prisons. I mean, they can release the footage, just like they do with the police officers in the free world, and they need to let everybody see how this is, see what's going on up in here.
hmm Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah, what you were saying though, I know we done been on here for a little while. How
Yeah.
has how's the service been? Has it been pretty good?
Oh, the service is awesome, bro. The service is
Okay,
awesome. Yeah,
good
I
deal.
have other factors that I have to tend to. But
Okay,
let's do this. I am going to tomorrow, I'm gonna make some phone calls and then I'm gonna get with you, man, because I know some people that would be right down their alley just in reference to promotion and making sure everything is done legitimately
yeah.
and lawfully is the most
Oh
important
yeah.
thing. But with enough
Oh yeah.
exposure where somebody be like, hey, what are they doing over there? what are they doing over there? And yeah, I want to be a part. I'm gonna wrap my mind. That's a good idea, bro. It's just a really good idea, and it comes from a place of really trying to be a part of the solution, man. So, however I can help you in this endeavor, bro, I'm with it. But I'm definitely have. I got 3 people in my mind that I know that I need to call in order to come up with something. But I'm with it, bro. I'm with it.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just go. We'll just, these are how things start. It starts with idea. Maybe it don't even manifest as that. Maybe it's something
Yep.
different. Maybe,
Back
you
tomorrow
know,
and try something else.
yeah, exactly. But it's something because, like I say, the information just being there ain't cutting it because they
Mhm.
still have nothing been done. Man, I've been giving people's names and everything. Man, these jokers still ain't done nothing. I've been like just that statement.
Mhm.
Just my statement is evidence that they silenced a whistleblower.
Mm.
And their reactions behind it. But it's just they got control, man, because the government. This ain't no thing like, oh, these jokers got us brainwashed with this Republican, Democrat, try to war against each other, and these people, that people, man. Our government is not doing right by us. I'll tell you that.
I would agree
None
wholeheartedly.
of them. You know.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
So, but thank you for your time, and yeah, I'm open. Just reach out and we'll go from there.
We definitely will, bro. I appreciate you, bro. We'll talk later.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.